Thank you very much for tuning in for our instant post-match reaction. West Ham 3, Liverpool 2. Deeply disappointing from Jurgen Klopp's side, really, today. It's almost like you haven't watched West Ham all season, especially on set pieces. Where do we start with deep diving and analysing this game? Firstly, talking about Kostas. For me, personally, should have started the game. Very deeply disappointing performance by Robinson down that left-hand side. For me, Kostas has to be starting games of football, really. We've got Ricky from the 1892 Reds podcast. Ricky, cheers for tuning in, mate. Do you feel Kostas should have started that game, mate? I've just said there. What's this lad got to do to start a game of football?
I mean, I don't get how we keep picking Robinson ahead of him on current form. Robinson's been terrible for the majority of the season. Tomiskas is playing his best football and he can't get in the team, so clearly not picking it on form.
Yeah, deeply disappointing, mates. And obviously, West Ham, fair play. West Ham Hammers out there as well. We go West Ham mates. They'll be absolutely buzzing. But frankly, Liverpool made it far too easy for West Ham. We can talk about the high line until the cows come home, really. Liverpool, yet again, it was very reminiscent of when we did play Aston Villa, how easy it was. It was frankly scary how easy it was. Jared Bowen breaking through Liverpool's midfield with ease. Fabinho, Mane losing possession. You can't do that at the top level of Premier League football. For me, set pieces, Ricky, was a massive factor today. And even the warning signs with the second corner, which they had, obviously he scored with the first one, and then Dawson on the second one, who hit the crossbar. Shocking from set pieces all game, weren't we, mate?
I mean, Alisson was like a polo in goal. How we didn't learn from the first corner from West Ham, we continued to allow it to happen. The marking's poor. Why we continue to put our small players against their big players on zonal marking. Van Dijk and Matip need to be more dominating when it comes to a set piece for a team. They need to be given that free role to go attack it.
Would that be a lack of leadership, really, at the heart of Liverpool's defence and midfield? Because frankly, me and you, mate, we're not experts at football. Every Liverpool fan's seen from the first ball they whipped in, they scored. And then the whole of the first half, as we said, Dawson missed. And then going into the second half, mate, surely, as you said on your post-match, mate, with you, Liverpool been practicing this all weekend. They knew, they anticipated, expected to see what happened. But it was like there was no leadership at all. As you said, all the midgets were on the front post. And West Ham were piling the ball on the front post, and it was far too easy.
I mean, I've seen better defending over the park than what we've been putting out lately. It just seemed like it was Van Dijk versus the whole West Ham front line. I mean,
if it wasn't for him, mate, it would have been 7-2 or something stupid.
Well, and we continue to play a high line with Joel Matip at centre half. And why he started, I don't know why Joel Matip started. It should have been Konate. Because we know they're quick. So, and we know Trent's not the best defensively. They doubled up on him again with Ben Rama, and Cresswell was quite high up. So it would have helped with Konate next to Trent for the pace.
Ben Rama absolutely teared Trent a new one, really, didn't he? Down the left-hand flank.
He was laughing. Ben Rama was laughing at one stage. It was just so easy for them to... Every time a team comes forward against us at the minute, I feel they're going to score. Our midfield non-existent as well. I mean, there's something not right. We just allowed him... How did no one bring the player down for the second goal? They just allowed him to run through.
Yeah, even if you do see Mane and Fabinho, as you said there, mate, losing the ball, but even if you take a card, that's about leadership in the middle of the park. Take a card, stop the possession. If you see a West Ham player going for, but they're too quick. They were too quick. If Antonio literally had his studs on, I think he was playing slippers, but the amount of times he was running through, he was bodying Van Dijk and Joel Matip with ease. But it was scary, mate. You hit the nail on the head in relation to the midfield there as well. Too passive. I know Ox didn't have the best game, but he was the best of the bunch, really. We still continue to play a DM when you're getting beat 3-2. Like when you Klopp far too late on his substitutions, which has been labelled on him. But it's not like he's got a plethora of players to bring off the bench. And yet again, Ricky and everyone in chat, Divock Origi coming off the bench and scoring goals. I tell you, if we come out away from this game with a point, it would have been mad.
I mean,
yeah.
Klopp's been known for poor substitutions. He's not great at them, but to be fair in that department, when he turns round, he must look at him and want to cry. I mean, the midfield is the worst problem we have at the minute. It's not good enough. Only one midfielder we have gets in every other top 14, and that's Fabinho. He's the only one in our midfield department that gets in another team. Henderson, like I said, I love Henderson to bits. But we seem to praise him all the time because he runs around for 90 minutes like a headless chicken. He passes full backwards and sideways. That first time crosses he puts into the penalty area with Diego Jota standing on his own. What's the point?
Yeah, it's easy when teams aren't parking the bus in it, mate. When you've got a team possibly coming at Liverpool with a bit more of a high line, but West Ham it was so very well drilled, compact, like we've already seen over the last 12 months. It was so well drilled, and Liverpool, as you said, there, mate, continually to cross the ball, cross to no avail. We threw on Divock Origi to go more direct, and there's no plan B, no plan C. And you're spot on there, mate, in relation to we haven't replaced Genie. No creativity at all, unless Thiago's in the midfield. Ox tried his best, but he got subbed on. If you're Ox, you're scratching your head going, what have I got to do? It was Curtis Jones on the bench as well today.
I don't think he was. I think he's still out with that eye injury.
Well, yeah, but even still, like it's not like we've not seen this performance, even against Brighton, mate, as well. Speaking to everyone in the comments as well, the writing's been on the wall. It's quite concerning that the amount of goals we have conceded already this season, far too easy. Costas was needed today, Tom. Frankly, for me, mate, Robbo needs a big kick up the backside. Frankly, his performances haven't been the best, especially when Costas has been coming in and performing. I don't think we conceded, or we haven't lost. He hasn't lost a game when he started, or being in the team, which is amazing stat in itself. Unlucky for years tonight, fella. Moyes just got his tactics right and never allowed you to play your game. Spot on there, Tom. Obviously, he's never been fan. He watched David Moyes for years. Hello, fella Reds. How you doing, Eamons? I'm over that result already. We deserve nothing. They're absolutely spot on there, Eamons. I think we got tactically outclassed by David Moyes' side, and I tell you, if you do continue this momentum, Ricky, for me, if everyone stays fit and they keep on continuing to push the way they have in the last 12 months, they can get top 4, can't they?
I think it depends how far they go in Europe. I think the latest because they win their group, I believe they don't play till March. In the next, because they skip a round, so they go straight into the second round or something silly like that. But I said on our preview show, the game will be won and lost in midfield. And the same, so we watched that midfield performance against Brighton. Klopp hit 2 of the boys out of 3 in that midfield, and it happened again. It's got to be a massive concern. Like, Klopp and his backroom staff have got to be looking at this and thinking, why are we conceding so many chances? We never used to be like so poor defensively. The midfield is a massive cause for concern going forward. We're not blessed with options. We didn't I weren't Gini Wijnaldum's biggest fan, but we didn't replace him. We relied on an 18-year-old kid. All right, he got injured. Unfortunately, he was playing good football for us at the time, but you can't rely on an 18-year-old kid to perform week in, week out in midfield. For me, Curtis Jones is not a centre midfielder.
Winger, I don't know.
Yeah,
midfielder / winger. Any?
We need to sign a centre midfielder in January, whether it be a quick, short term, just someone to come in as another body because we're not blessed with the amount of midfielders we've got, or whoever we were buying in the summer, we need to try and get in January and get it done early.
It was even Salah today, mate. We know how good Mo's been this season, but it's like he was trying too hard. He tried to take on the whole team, and that just says a lot about when Salah's doing that, the confidence that he didn't have within the squad. But as Tom said, he's spot on there, mate. Tom, Robbo with the first to drive and runs down the left-hand side. Both ended with crosses whipped into an empty half space. with no one even close to getting onto them. Yeah, it's a story of the season, mate. Or even if Trent or Robbo do get in those areas, we've been speaking really for the last to the cows come home over the last couple of months, and even every Liverpool fan, we haven't got an out and out number 9. Obviously, Jota, yeah, he's a good fox in the box, but we haven't got an out and out number 9 that guarantees you 25, 30 goals. Lucky enough, we got Salah from a wide area who chips in with a lot of goals, but there needs to be a reaction. Kuchner, the blame can't be put on the defence. Spot on there, like. The midfield is equally to blame. Fabinho not even close to 100%, and Henderson huffed and huffed. We need someone in midfield with the defence and attacking capabilities of Ginny. Ox and Thiago can't defend. Yeah, Kuchner, you spot on there, mate. That's the thing with Thiago, mate, and he's hit the nail on the head. As good as Thiago is controlling games, he's not got the legs to really run back and defend. But I think that was a substitution of desperation by Klopp to throw him on, wasn't
it? Thiago got put in a hard position. We see that West Ham team there, every man behind the ball. It's hard to break that down. And I just Henderson for me, I don't know whether it's. I don't think he's good enough to play week in, week out, because he gives 100%. He runs around. He don't create nothing. Like that midfield of Ox, Fab, and Henderson, zero creativity. Ox, fair play to him. He tried to run forward with the ball, tried to create sound, but Henderson ain't got them. Like the creativity of someone like a Thiago, but Thiago just can't stay fit, and it's just we need some reinforcements.
All of our midfielders, mate, we and you said, and Inspector and everyone on the channel, and most Liverpool fans around the world, all of us were going, why have we not replaced Ginny? We know how available he was, and he had that ability to play a bit more further forward, or he could play that holding role. That's not his best position, but he was a player that was always available. And you said there, mate, Curtis being injured, Elliott, you can't really plan for that injury, but most of our midfielders are injury prone. Lack of quality in the final third. As you said, yes, Liverpool's creative output does come from the left back and the right back and the way in which we stretch teams, but we're absolutely knackered when teams sit behind the ball. But this has been happening for 4 years, mate. Even when we won the league, teams were still parking the bus and frustrating us. And it's frustrating, mate. But as Spectre said there, the rebuilding of the squad starts now, in my opinion. Yeah, we need something in that midfield, really, especially when games, and even up front, we need an option off the bench or something of real quality, someone to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and do something. Our issues the midfield and the backup forwards. Yeah, but even it's, I'm lost for words, Ricky, and it's very rare that is the thing for me, mate. But yeah, very disappointed. I've mentioned for me it was the big issues today were Jurgen Klopp's substitution, Kostas not playing, how poor we were in the midfield of the park, mate. And really else to add, mate. I don't want to keep it any longer. That we kind of have missed, but yeah, right.
Konate needs to start as centre back.
Yeah, Kostas and Konate to come back into this starting 11
has to. Who's our next home? It's Arsenal at home.
Arsenal, yeah.
Our next game.
Arsenal,
mate, Arsenal are playing good football at the minute. Arteta's got them playing well. We need to be. This is going to be a midfield battle again, and at the minute I can't see who our midfield beats in the game.
Yeah, but Arsenal will play into our hands, won't they?
Oh yeah. We need to be pressing from the front against Arsenal because they like to play out at the back, and they ain't really got the defenders to play ball football out from the back. But I just can't see. It's going to be a hard challenge. I can't wait for AFCON because we're going to go with a front three of Taki, Origi, Jota, because Firmino's obviously out for 2 months, and the midfield three, mate.
We're knackered. Like Klopp, there's only so many times he can go back to the well, can't he? Like he can't continue to make miracles. It's scary, mate. Especially if AFCON does go ahead. We're knackered, mate. We could be out of the title race before even January.
I said when AFCON comes, we need to be at least 6 points clear at the top when AFCON comes about, just to have any sort of chance to stay in it.
Yeah, it's crazy, mate. And I was saying to you on your post-match with Luke as well, make sure you do head over there, lads, as well. The 1892 Reds podcast. Jump on their show and subscribe as well. Absolute legends. But it's disappointing, mate. There needs to be a serious evaluation. But we said this, Ricky, before the even league started, didn't we? But Eamon's spot on there. Letting Ginny go was a huge mistake. We all knew it, and we didn't have anyone to replace him. We've done nothing. It's our own fault. Yeah, the onus is on Liverpool. FS need to back Klopp and invest in the squad. Can't have some old faces trying to get you out of trouble. Henderson is playing the role of a defensive midfielder and a link between the attack and defence. And he is the captain. Wearing too many hats, our midfield is very one-dimensional. Absolutely spot on there.
He don't start for me. Henderson don't start for me in our best midfield when they're all fit. He don't start.
It's Naby, Fabinho, and Thiago.
Yeah,
for me.
That's the three, yeah.
I think we've only seen that midfield like once, haven't we? Like even against Everton, and then I think that was the game where everyone got injured.
Yeah.
Taki, Jota, Origi for January, oh God. But Origi, I love the lad. The amount of times he's come on, if you're Origi, you're like, come on, Jürgen. Like, is it always got to be down to Origi to score goals? I know that's his job and he comes off the bench, but the back of Origi's mind, you're going, got to do it again, have I?
He did more in 15 minutes than what Mane did all game.
Yeah. And even Salah, it was quite quiet. Jota, all of them had an absolute shocker, but a lot of credit does have to go to West Ham. Deeply disappointing. They absolutely terrorised us. Like we've seen against Brighton. I was speaking to West Ham lads before yesterday, and I said, we switched off second half. And obviously, David Moyes is a very good manager. He probably watched that and went, Declan Rice, what a player. I tell you what, Ricky, I'd love him in our midfield, but it won't take a lot. It would be a lot of money to get him out of West Ham. Look at the bench today. It was depressing sight. We don't have a really good attacking or creative option to bring on. Yeah, we'll end on that, mate, Ricky. I won't continue the torture of. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. That's Ricky from the 1892 Reds podcast. I leave the links and all that in the description, but head over to their channel, subscribe. I just done a post-match after the game as well on their show, so make sure you drop your comments in on that as well. But Reds, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you, Ricky, for coming on. Not the best result, but I think Liverpool have got to be very, very careful now in the next couple of fixtures to not let this league slip away. Obviously, if City do get their act together and Chelsea, we could possibly be looking at the gap even opening. Well, luckily it's only 4 points, but in reality, it should be at least 6 to 9 points gap between Liverpool and obviously the likes of Chelsea and City. But draws and defending like that won't win you the league title. There needs to be a serious re-evaluation over the international break, not just Alisson, but Liverpool's whole midfield, defence, and the attacking play as well. But this is why Jürgen Klopp gets all the big money, don't he, Reds? Thank you very much, every single one of you, for tuning in. Obviously, Gary as well, absolute legends. Not happy Liverpool deserved that loss today. Liverpool need a real striker. Ollie Watkins scores goals in this side. He's a very clinical finisher, isn't he? I've been saying that for a while about our bench. Take care, lads. Cheers, matey. Thanks, lads. We go again. We very much certainly do. Klopp rebuild starts now, 2022. Cheers, lads. And cheers, Ricky and everyone at home. I'd say try and enjoy the rest of your weekend, but you can't when Liverpool lose games of football. It's sorry that I've most definitely sounded quite depressed, but it's put me off my tea. It's all of us. This is why we love Liverpool so much. We'll be in a mood for the next couple of days. Obviously, our family will be like trying to talk to us, and you're like,
my dad's a West Ham fan.
You'll be getting messages all night, mate. All night. Enjoy that, Nicky.
Yeah.
Shelley, just quickly get to everyone. I think it's a goalkeeper error. And Milner could have given the first 30 minutes. He was injured, Shelley. Obviously, he was out injured. Probably Milner could have done a better job in Golden Alley today. But Reds, have a lovely rest of your weekend. Try and enjoy it. You can't really when Reds lose. But cheers for that, Ricky. and everyone in the comments. Have a lovely rest of your weekend, and I will see you tomorrow for another episode. Ta-ra, lads.